Hello again, grade 3. Today we're going to continue our reading lesson, The Impossible Pet Show. This is the title for our new story. The genre is realistic fiction. The meaning of realistic fiction is the events of the story might happen in real life. The characters, here we have a boy and a girl and their pet. For this setting, the boy and the girl, they're playing at the park. So the setting here is the park. And now, let's read the story together. My best friend Carla Hernandez called me on Thursday afternoon. Daniel, meet me in the park near the playground in 5 minutes. I have a great idea. This worried me because Carl's great ideas almost always mean big trouble for me. I dashed outside and jogged to the park. When I saw Carla, my heart sank, because her gigantic dog Pero was with her. I liked everything about Carla except Pero. I've never had a pet, so I feel uncomfortable and nervous around animals. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm afraid of Carla's dog. Carla smiled. Isn't this the perfect location for a pet show? She asked. All the kids in the neighborhood can show off their pets' talents and demonstrate the things they do well. There are plenty of comfortable benches for our parents and friends to sit on. And since you don't have a pet to enter into the show, you will be the announcer. Let's look at the second paragraph here. The phrase "my heart sank" means I had a bad feeling. Why does Daniel say my heart sank? He said that because he saw Carla with her dog, and he feels uncomfortable and nervous around animals. That's why he said my heart sank, so he was scared or afraid. I'm sorry, I apologized, but that's impossible. Crowds make me nervous and unsure. Besides, I don't like animals, remember? That's nonsense, said Carla. There is nothing to be concerned about because you will be great. Just then, Pero leaped up, slobbered all over me, and almost knocked me down. Yuck! Down, Pero, stay! I shouted. Pero sat as still as a statue. Wow! You're good at that, said Carla. Now, let's get started because we have a lot to do. By Saturday morning, I had practiced announcing each pet's act 100 times. My stomach was doing flip-flops by the time the audience arrived. The size of the crowd made me feel even more anxious. When the show began, I gulped and announced the first pet. It was a parakeet named Butter, whose talent was walking back and forth on a wire. When Butter finished, everyone clapped and cheered. So far, everything was perfect, and I was beginning to feel calmer and more relaxed. I realized that being an announcer wasn't so bad after all. Let's have a look here at the word nonsense. What do you mean by nonsense? First, the prefix non means no or not. And the word sense means meaning. So nonsense means it has no meaning. Something that has no meaning. It doesn't make sense. Question 2. How does Daniel feel after everyone claps and cheers? He felt calmer and more relaxed, and he also realized that being an announcer wasn't so bad after all. Then, it was Carla and Pero's turn. Sit, Pero, she said, but Pero didn't sit. Pero was not paying attention to Carla. He was too interested in watching Jack's bunnies jump in and out their boxes. Suddenly, Pero leaped at the bunnies who hopped toward Mandy and knocked over her hamster's cage. Pudgy the hamster escaped and began running around in circles while Carl's dog, Jake, howled. This was a disaster, and I had to do something. Sit, I shouted at Pero. Quiet, I ordered Jake. Stay, I yelled. Everyone, kids and pets, stopped and stared at me. Even the audience froze. Daniel, that was incredible, said Carla. You get the pets to settle down. That's quite an achievement. Sadly, that was the end of our pet show. But now I have more confidence when I have to speak in front of people. And even though I am still nervous around animals, Pero and I have become great friends. And I have discovered my talent too. Let's have a look here at the word disaster. Disaster is a terrible event. So, what was the reason that the pet show was a disaster? The pet show was a disaster because all the animals were running and jumping everywhere. No one could control them. So, it was a disaster. So, how does Daniel change at the end of the story? Do you remember at the beginning of the story, he was nervous and he didn't feel comfortable being around animals. And he was also a bit scared to speak in front of people. But this was changed at the end of the story. He got the confidence to speak in front of people, and he and Pero became great friends. And he also discovered his talent. That's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed the story.